Hey guys, it's Ellie, and today I am back and I am going to be telling stories in this video for days 17 and 18, and I'm kind of combining them together a little bit. We went away for the weekend, for the night, to celebrate our Christmas #1 with Aaron's family. And so in the album itself right now, I have the back of two 4x6 things from day 16. So I'm thinking about adding this tree on here to the Let's Be Merry card. I have a picture of the tree at Aaron's parents' house. And then what I have next is a bunch of 4x6 pictures. Actually, I have, let's see, 5 of them that I printed out from this weekend, various just kinds of shots of celebrating. And I have this product here that we're trying to find a source for. It's very similar to the Simple Stories flip up pages, and I'll probably just end up linking you to those if I can't find what these ones are. I'm not sure who made these. These ones don't have any adhesive along the top, which is what's great about the Simple Stories ones. I just don't have any of the Simple Stories ones here on hand. But these, the idea here, you know, is that you could put them down on top of a page protector, you could stitch them on, you could adhere them on, and then you can flip it up to be able to add additional pages. So I'm thinking of making a little, you know, booklet basically of maybe 3 or 2 or 3 of these, or however many I need for the pictures that I have, and then adding them some way, either maybe over here, may end up just being on this one, that this is the top, and then when you flip it up it has the other ones underneath. That actually might be what I do with maybe the story on the bottom. That is one way that I can approach it. So basically my first day 17 is just going to be dealing with a variety of pictures. In the past, I've done things like I've added them into the album as a page in and of itself. You can adhere them back to back, punch holes. So I'm trying just a little bit of something different. Then I am not sure yet if I'm going to keep this page protector in here or not yet. I may just take it out, and then have the next day, which is day 18. Then I have a full-size 4x6, or excuse me, 6x8 picture that I'm thinking of putting on there with Aaron decorating the tree outside decorating the porch when we got back. And so that's a little bit of what I'm thinking that I will do. I may end up leaving this in here. Maybe I'll cut half of it off. I haven't decided yet exactly how I want to approach that portion. I'm also thinking that I will handwrite directly onto the photo using the metallic marker pens, and probably add that onto the top. So that's where I'm starting from. You know, I am playing catch up today, which I know that most of you, that's a piece of your process as you're going through the month, that you're not necessarily working on it every single day like I do normally. And I like the idea of kind of combining the days together too. I want people to know that that's a completely fine approach to take, because the real awesomeness of this album, which is the same of so many other projects that I do, is that it's the whole, right? It's not any one individual story, it's the whole that really is the most fun. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of strategize a little bit of how many of these do I need, what does that look like, what kind of adhesive am I going to use, and then I will share more along the way. Okay, my first step was I did some journaling that I did onto a 4x6 card. I used a 4x6 layered template that I have, the December Stories one, and I just adjusted the template. I removed the photo parts and kept the title and placed that holiday Hello Traditions on the top of that 4x6 card. And here you can see what I'm looking at is I'm using these cascading waterfall page protectors that are from We Are Memory Keepers, that were designed for the Fuse tool. And I'm using we figured out who it was, and you can see I was just laying it on there. So here I found the Fuse tool in the office. It had been hiding for a while. Now I am trying to fuse together 3 of the page protectors. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can see that I have red line tape there, because that is one way that you could do it, is just use red line tape to adhere each layer of the page protectors together. It's very very transparent. You can still see it a little bit, but it's not too bad. So I'm using the fuse tool to, basically what happens when you use this is it heats it up enough to melt the plastic together, essentially, is what it's doing. And when I was doing it here, I was having a little bit of a hard time getting it to go through. And I think it might have been the thickness of actually having the photos in the pockets. And so it was lifting that, lifting the ruler part up off the table, and then I was like, did I drop it on the ground? Is that why it's not rolling? So the problem was partly that it wasn't rolling, and you need it to roll to be able to create the indents that melt the plastic together. So then I was like, all right, let's do a test. And I could see then that it was still working. There you go. See, like I was like, okay, I know it works. So I tried again, and this time I made it a little bit farther up, or, laid the ruler down a little bit farther up and just kind of went back and forth a few times. And that seemed to get it to work. And as you'll also see, I see how that got a little bit of it, but then not the full amount. So I did it again, and then you'll also see that I turn it over and do it from the other side as well. And there are probably some other special techniques in using this. I haven't used this probably for about a year. Definitely you want it to heat up before you use it. That's part of the, you want it to definitely be hot. But once I did it this way, it seemed to be okay. In the end, I did end up using a little bit of red line tape under a portion of it where it was kind of coming up on one edge, and that seemed fine as well. And you'll see kind of what I did to deal with that in the end as well. So that's the grouping of 3 there, 3 that are essentially fused together. And then I took some of the thicker red line tape. This is probably maybe almost half inch sized red line tape, and I put it on the back, which that was my choice to just do it this way instead of fusing it to the page protectors itself. I decided, because I was already dealing with, multiple layers of thickness with the plastic, I decided to just use that red line tape to really make sure it was going to stay on there. So then I have the 3 flip ups on the page itself. And then I kind of thought about what were different ways that maybe I would want to cover up the seam there. You can leave it if you want, but I felt like it was an opportunity to add some other decorative element there. I considered pattern paper, like a strip of pattern paper. I also considered some ribbon or the rickrack from the kit. I did grab the yellow star from the December Daily Chipboard set, and I added that on there. And I also added a word phrase sticker from the Tim Holtz set of gold foil on black stickers there. And I think it says something about, oh, Christmas tree. And I am adding those again on the outside of the page protector, which is a easy way to add additional things on there. I did consider adding some other embellishments to the flip up part, but I decided against it, just kind of keeping it nice and simple, focus on the pictures. Now here is some ribbon that I found in my stash. This, I think, is from Maya Road. Actually, it is from Maya Road, and it is a trim from them. It says Gross Grain Pleat Ribbon Red. So a nice texture addition on the outside of the page protector. And again, I'm using red line tape to hold that in place. It's just a super sturdy, great kind of adhesive for when you want something to stay on there. You could also stitch it on. That would be an option as well. In this case, I feel like this was good enough for what I was wanting to do, and then trimmed off just a little bit more on the edge over there. I think you can't really see that as much on here, but that was pretty much the how I finished up that page. I love the flip up photos. I think that was a great solution for a day that I had a bunch of photos that I didn't necessarily want to have additional page protectors in the album, but I just wanted to have some kind of a flip up option. I really like how that one turned out. So then for the next day, which was day 18, I'm doing these 2 days together, obviously. I enlarged a photo to 6x8 to fit into the page protector, and it's one of Erin outside putting the lights up on the house, and like you're seeing, I'm just trimming it out there from the photo paper that I printed it on. And then my idea was to add a messy circle along the top and then do some handwriting with one of the metallic markers. And I decided to go with the gold, which was repeating the gold on the Hello Twinkle along the bottom part. And my story for this day was kind of a throwback to a story that I did last year, which was about, I had taken some pictures of myself putting up the lights outside. And it was this whole idea of, that we make our own magic. And so when I did the journaling on the page that you're going to see me do in just a minute here, that was kind of the sentiment, this idea of last year, that I was making my own magic, and this year I have somebody that's participating in the magic with me, which I think is nice, especially when you're viewing it from one year to the next. I also pulled out an 18 chipboard from the main kit, and you'll see how I use that in a minute here. First, here's just writing directly onto, this is Epson, Epson Premium Glossy Photo Paper, and I'm using one of the metallic markers. There is a gold and a silver. This is the gold, and writing directly onto the photo itself. These look really great on black or on dark photos specifically. So that was kind of a fun way to add my journaling directly onto the photo itself. And like I said, I'm just writing about how it was fun to have somebody else participating in creating magic here in the house this year, and how I am thankful for that, the evolution of that story as well. So just writing that on there. And then in a minute here, you will see that I will draw lines on top. That's something that I like to do, and I usually draw the lines after I have done the writing. And when I'm drawing lines, I'm not trying to make them straight at all. I'm just kind of quickly drawing lines under whatever the text is that I had written in there. So that is a look at the journaling directly on the photo. Then I definitely wanted to add a little bit more to the photo itself. So I decided to leave the 18 just white and add some adhesive on the back and put it, just kind of making a cluster of embellishments there along the top of the photo. Again, having the 18 go off the edge of the page. I liked how that turned out. And I also added a small white chipboard that says Joy, and that was from the Pam Garrison December Daily Mini Kit. The last thing that I decided to do, you do see that I have a transparent pattern transparency in between my two pages there. That was a bonus item for early purchasers of the main kit. And I decided that I did want to add a number to this page in particular. And I didn't want to necessarily put the 17 on top of the tree photo. So I took a couple metal rimmed circle tags and a small 1-inch circle punch. There's that right there. That punch in particular creates the perfect size little circle to go right on top of those key tags. So with the ones that have the holes in them. I used red alpha stickers that are from my shop, and I'll try to link them for you. We had a bundle available during the December daily pre-order with some of colors that would match the kit, and that was one that was included in there. And I just put a little adhesive on there and then add it right onto the tag, and then I am going to add that right onto one of the messy circles on that transparency itself. And when I do something like that, in general, I will often look for opportunities to add something onto the backside, which I did here. And I considered a couple different things, but then I loved how I still had that, the rubber piece that says magic on it, which went along with the kind of my story for the day and the journaling that I was doing for day 18 with Erin out there putting up the lights. So I am using red line tape to adhere that rubber piece down onto the middle of the circle, and then I will add that whole circle onto right in exactly the same spot so that you're not seeing through the other one to the other side. So that's a look at day 17 and 18, and I will be back again soon with the next one.